The Golden State Warriors just extended Steph Curry's current contract by paying him $62 million through the 2025 season. In this video, we're going to do a deep dive on the film and look at what exactly makes Steph Curry still one of the best point guards in the league at age 35. Now obviously, you and I both know that Steph is one of, if not the best shooter in basketball history. Whether he's shooting off the dribble, catch, on the move, Steph is just a flat-out shot maker, and the foundation of that lays with his mechanics. When looking closer at Steph's form, he does have more of a grounded set shot. He does get some lift off the floor, but compared to other players, Steph is pretty grounded into his jumper. And there's two main benefits that come with that form. The first is going to be Curry's range. While Steph doesn't get a crazy amount of lift off the floor, he does have perfect timing with his lower body into his release. By getting the ball to his set point with his feet grounded and getting full extension from his lower body into his release, Curry's ability to channel the strength of his whole body into his shot is what unlocks his ridiculous range, allowing him to effortlessly pull the trigger from 30 feet with no fat or wasted movement. And this leads us to the second benefit of Curry's set shot, which is going to be his quick release. When playing off the dribble, all Steph has to do is get the ball to his set point. And from here, he's more than comfortable cranking off shots from every spot on the floor. And again, because Curry doesn't have to channel a bunch of explosiveness into his jumper, there's no big windup or dip before he picks up, which gives him this quick trigger into his shot. So when Steph crosses half court, the defense has no margin for error. If the man guarding Steph gives him just enough breathing room, it's pretty much a guaranteed 3 points. We'll see Steph on this play pushing the ball in semi-transition, and notice how Utah has a brief miscommunication on the ball, and that's all it takes to give up 3 points. Now on this play, notice how the defense just slightly botches the switch, and this is simply too much breathing room for Steph. Curry's ability to punish defensive breakdowns is even more of a factor in pick and roll, where again, the defense has to be super sharp on their coverages. And if Steph gets any daylight, the possession is pretty much over. We'll see Westbrook and Harden here switch the screen, and while the both of them have 2 feet above the 3, this is still a practice shot for Steph. And even if the man guarding the ball initially does a good job of staying attached to Steph off these screens, Curry can still capitalize on the smallest of shooting windows. You'll see Derrick Jones here step up and pressure Steph out well beyond the 3. But notice how bladed Jones' stance is, with his hips pretty much squared up with the sideline. So the screener is just going to flip this pick, allowing Curry to cleanly come off with this 3. You'll see RJ Barrett here initially play good defense by stepping up and meeting Steph at the logo, but he gets just slightly clipped by the screen, and that's all the space Steph needs to get the shot off. So when it comes to punishing defensive breakdowns, there isn't a tougher cover in the league than Steph Curry. The defense has literally no room for error, and then on top of that, Steph is also the best tough shot maker in the league, where he can sink shots while being off balance or heavily contested.
Curry, step back, triple.
Probably the most underrated part of Steph's game is going to be his lower body strength. This is what allows him to both create separation off the dribble to then rise up for on-balance looks. Watch him here turn the corner off the screen, and he pushes this big back by getting both feet below the 3. And Steph from this spot has the control to separate off his right foot and organize his feet back behind the line. He's going to hit the same move here in transition, where Steph attacks across to his left, and he pushes the defense back by getting both feet below the 3. And he's going to again separate off that right foot and skip back for a perfectly on-balance jumper. Steph's lower body strength also gives him really good deceleration off the dribble, getting the defense to open up by using these tight attacking angles to then slam the brakes and separate out for a shot. Steph's footwork and shot making here is crazy, where Curry's first going to attack hard to his left, and once he gets this defender's hips to open up, Steph's going to stop his momentum by planting his right foot and sliding the ball between, and this is more than enough space for him to rise up. This dead leg move is also one of Steph's go-tos, where instead of separating off his inside foot like a traditional step back, Curry plants his ball side foot. We'll see him here attack the defense's top foot by going between. Then he's going to take one dribble and both pound the ball with his left hand and plant his left foot, which sends this defender flying below the three.
Deep three is good.
And then on top of that balance and footwork, Curry also has really good pace with the ball, while also being elite at reading angles. Notice on this play how Steph is playing upright and casual, and he's going to skip up to get this defender leaning, to then attack his top foot by transferring the ball through. And from here, Steph has the control to bring his back foot across and transfer his weight into the step back. But now look at this play, where the defense this time is overcommitting to Curry's right side. So Steph's going to simply attack into open space, to then plant his left foot into a step back going right.
Curry, find some room, find some space.
So Curry's footwork, balance, and ability to read angles makes him a really tough cover in open space. And we haven't even gone over his ball handling. Behind maybe one or two guys, I think Steph has the best handle in the NBA, where he's got both really good ball control, plus the footwork to commit his body into moves. Watch him here hit a simple right to left between, but notice how far he extends his left foot, selling that blow by. And Curry from here has the control and balance to transfer the ball back through, to then immediately pick up into his jumper. We'll see him again here use that footwork and ball control, where Steph goes between and skips out to his left, to then plant his outside foot and flow into a crossover and step back. When playing in isolation, Steph loves to get to these lateral skips, and this is where he can set up countless of moves. Obviously, he always has a quick pull-up in his back pocket, and the ball control to change direction and get to any kind of separation move. So when it comes to creating threes off the dribble, Steph Curry is the best to ever do it. Mechanically, he's got both a quick release and logo range. Physically, he's got the control to keep himself on balance while committing his body into moves. Plus, he's got the ball control to create space and separate going both right and left. Curry's combination of skill and ridiculous tough shot making is what makes him still one of the scariest offensive players in the league. And Curry's lower body strength and balance translates right over to his shooting off the ball, where he's comfortable blasting off screens and shifting to open space, to then settle his feet for on-balance jumpers. And similar to his shooting off the dribble, the margin for error when guarding Steph off the ball is razor thin. If you fall asleep for a split second or botch any off-ball action, it's pretty much a guaranteed 3 points. Notice on this play how the weak side defense falls asleep for a split second, and Curry's going to simply shift down towards the corner, creating a clean angle for this pass. Off the ball, Curry's also great at reading the defense, and he obviously knows how to play off screens and take what the defense gives him. But what also makes Steph and the Warriors offense as a whole really tough to deal with is that the entire offense is pretty much always in sync. Take this play for example. You'll see Wiggins here attacking downhill, then collapse the defense and spray it out to Draymond Green in the corner. And notice how Jared Vanderbilt is going to ignore Green and sprint to Steph. But with no hesitation, Draymond is going to flip the ball to Steph and immediately set this brush screen, freeing him up with his corner three.
Curry, corner three, it's good.
When shooting off the catch, Curry is also great at running through the pass, which allows him to both keep his momentum into his shot while creating additional space on the catch. We'll see him here working off this pin down screen, and as Curry receives the ball, notice how he's going to catch and step with his right foot. Then he's going to use these next two steps to turn into a shot while creating additional space for the defense. We'll see him use the exact same footwork here, where Steph catches and steps with his right, then elevates up with his next two steps. And that same footwork applies if Steph is shooting to his left. Watch him here catch and step with his left foot, to then flow into this right-left shot. So whether he's playing on or off the ball, the defense has to respect Curry's outside shooting, and he pretty much always pulls the defense out well beyond the three, which then opens up his downhill scoring. And this is where Steph's ball handling becomes an even bigger factor, because that's what allows him to constantly beat both the shooting and driving threat. Whether Steph is playing in pick and roll or isolation, his outside shooting threat forces the defense to step up and get in his airspace, which then gives Curry the leverage to initiate these drives. And this is where Steph's pace, ball control, and footwork is huge. We'll see him here working off the staggered screen, and as soon as Steph comes off, the defense has to step out to take away his pull-up. But Curry from here has the control to slide it through and transition into this drive. Notice on this play how the Knicks are going to double him as soon as he crosses half court. But Curry is going to hit the same move by gliding out and sliding the ball between. Then from here, he's got all this open space to play downhill. This is one of Curry's favorite counters to that between blow-by, where he first brings the ball through and drops his level, then wraps it behind. And again, Steph's outside shooting is a constant underlying threat. So once he slightly shifts the defense out of his frame, that's all he needs to create a clear driving line. We'll see him hit the same combo here, where Steph first skips up and sells that drive by going between and dropping his shoulders. Then he's going to lift up and wrap the ball behind.
Kawhi was coming from the other end. Curry got to the rim.
When playing downhill, I also think Steph has really underrated strength, where he's got the physicality to both initiate contact and absorb bumps to keep his driving line. We'll see him here isolating against a much bigger Aaron Gordon, and Steph's going to get back to his go-to hezzy between. And while coming downhill, notice how Curry is going to veer back into Gordon's body, creating this finishing window to his right. And what makes all these veers and shoulder bumps so effective is that Steph constantly has the defense off balance, because they both have to shift up to take away the three, then scramble back down to meet Steph at the basket, and that makes it way tougher for the defense to absorb this contact. We'll see Joel Embiid here step up to take away the three, then swivel his hips to meet Curry at the basket, but Steph is going to again initiate contact to keep this outside finishing angle. So when looking at everything Steph brings to the table, from his outside shooting, on-ball creation, off-ball scoring, and his ability to play downhill and put pressure on the rim, I think that's enough to make him the best scoring point guard in NBA history. And coming into his 16th season, he's showing no signs of slowing down.
Into the paint, throws it up and scored.